Hello and welcome to the Guitar Music Institute. It's Ged Brockie here. I hope if you've tried some of the other lessons you're enjoying it, and it'll be great to hear your points of view. Just get in touch. Let me know there's someone out there. So this is the third lesson all about chord shapes. I've been looking at major chords in 5 positions, minor chords in 5 positions, and now we're going to look at dominant 7th chords in 5 positions. So it's not just playing a chord in 5 positions, which is great, having the ability to play a chord up the neck. We're also going to put it into our little progression that we're using, 1, 4 and 5. Now this will work well for dominant 7ths because you'll use this in blues. Okay, so it really opens things up for you. Some of these are going to be better than others, but it's good to know the lot of them. So we've been using these major shapes, G major, to get a dominant 7th. We just add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We add the flattened 7th to the chord, and there you go, G7. G7 is not in the key of G. Just remember that. We'll cover this in other lessons. So we've got C7. There's the 7th, flattened 7th there. D7, we're going to use, there's D7, but we're going to do this thing that I've been doing in the 2 previous lessons, where I put the 3rd in the bass. So we're not going to use this first string. That's D7, we've got E7, I'm just going to use that form there, and A7. So let's look at G7, C7 and D7. That's going to be our progression, and we're going to play it in 5 places on the neck. These are the constituent chords of blues and many other types of songs, and it's often referred to as a 1, 4, 5, and I keep saying this, maybe I should do a lesson and put it in before, but if it's not there already you can look for a lesson on diatonic chord harmony. I will be bringing that out, so you just understand what that's all about. But fundamentally the chords are G7, C7 and D7. Okay, so I'll just put a little rhythm. C7, D7, voice leading in that, but it's okay, it's one position. Position 2, G7 will be here with an E7 shape at bar 3. C7 will be at bar 3 as well with an A7 shape, and D7 will be a C7 taken up 2. Now what I do is normally I put the 3rd finger on the 5th string there and mute on the 6th string and mute the 5th string. I just think it broadens the sound out. The root is now under the 1st finger. It's up to you, you can have that. That's like the broader sound of spectrum of sound. So in effect I'm playing a 2nd inversion. D7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th note's in the bass. It's called a 2nd inversion. So let's play the progressions. G7, C7, D7. Okay, let's move on to the next one. G7. So that's this is a bit convoluted, this one, because it's like this. Take your D7, slide it up to here, and then move that down to there. A very tricky chord to play, I do accept this. Our C7 is going to be played like this. This is a G chord, taken up. We're not going to worry about the 1st string. I'm just going to play it like that and then add the flattened 7th in there. You can go right up to the 2nd string. So we've got G7, C7, and then D7, and then back to G7. C7, D7. Okay, next up, there's G7, it's a C7 shape, pick it up. There's a C7 with an E7 shape, and there is our D7 using that G shape altered. Okay, here we go. So it's G7, C7, D7, G7. I'll do this once more. G7, C7, D7, and then G7, which leads us on to our last one. Our A7 shape taken all the way up, and then C7 with that horrible one, and then D7 there. So we've got G7, C7, D7, C7, D7, and then G7 again. That's a bit of a nightmare, that one, to get to. You might need to practice that. So now, as always with this, I'm just going to play those in sequence, those 5 ways of playing G7, C7 and D7 right the way up the neck. And hopefully you'll practice along and you'll be able to do it too and see the benefits of knowing how to play this. So here we go. G7, C7, D7. Okay, there you go. That was pretty tricky at times, but you'll get used to it. I do accept that some of these chords will be difficult to play, but keep persevering and it will open up so many opportunities for you, and in further lessons we'll take these concepts and really move them on. So I hope you've enjoyed these 3 lessons. Get back to me your thoughts, comments, and well, keep tuning in for updates on new lessons, new ideas, new concepts. Best of luck, and I'll see you soon.